Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel and welcome to another tier list ranking video here today for another Eurovision national final of the 2025 season. Today is the national final over in Finland, a little to my east of course, which is called UMK. I'm not saying the actual name of the competition because I have no idea how to pronounce it. I haven't even bothered trying to even memorize a single word from it. UMK 2025, hopefully everyone knows what selection I'm talking about when I call it that. They have 7 songs, like with every year. I've been following this national final, this is the 3rd year I'm doing it now, and I've really loved doing it the past 2 years, and it's a pretty fun selection this year as well, at least in my opinion, and I've really enjoyed listening to these 7 songs in the past few days. The last one just released 2 or 3 days ago, I think. So, but I've been catching up now, and I've made sure to listen to all of them several times to really make a very clear mind or a clear idea in my head of what I think of each of them. 7 songs is of course not that many when it comes to being a national final in Eurovision. So many of them have over 20 songs or so. Then there's Lithuania, I think, who has 50, 60, I don't even know. However, Finland has 7, which is a very nice number for me anyway, because that means that I can really delve a little bit deeper and really make a very clear image in my head of what I think of each song, because I don't... the more songs there are, of course, the more time it takes for me to really just delve into the songs and be able to separate them. However, here, I think they all have quite clear identities, all of them, and they kind of appeal to their own audience, I suppose. Some of them could intertwine a little bit, but I'm quite fascinated by the selection and I'm looking forward to talking about it. So now, as I've been rambling for almost 2 minutes, I think I'll just get right to it and talk about... I'm going to be talking about them in the order they were released, and the first one to get released was called Nightmares by NEEA River, which is... I have my split kind of opinions about it, because I think this song kind of sounds like a Eurodance Schlager type of song in the verse and the bridge of it. Some strong synth work in here, some memorable melodic writing, and clearly I find charm in this because I'm, a sucker for these kinds of songs usually. Unfortunately, there are some setbacks to this one that I am a little bit disappointed by, I have to be honest. I think there's an insane amount of vocal processing on this, which makes me a bit skeptical towards when we're going to see it as a live performance. Hopefully it won't be an issue, but just listening to it as a studio cut, I find this excessive use of processing to be a bit distracting, I have to be honest, and that kind of detracts from my personal enjoyment out of it. The instrumental drops, I guess you'd call them as well, I think they're kind of just disappointments of minimalism. I don't really enjoy them as much as they probably set out to do. They feel a bit kind of Faithless inspired, but with a kind of 2015 Big Room-esque kind of approach instrumentally in that combination. Some aspects of it is kind of charming to me, but at the same time I feel like they could have done something more and been more convincing with this approach, because I feel like you can do so much with electronic music rather than just completely go for minimalism like they've done here. I would have liked some more kind of dynamic in here and something more... It doesn't necessarily have to be complex, but something more intriguing to be going on during these instrumental sections. I'm also quite disappointed by the structure of this track. I find it to be rather static and annoyingly predictable, which is a setback as well. It's a very limited amount of finesse throughout the song, which I think really holds back the overall appeal, I guess. It follows a formula kind of entirely, which unfortunately makes it feel a bit soulless in my opinion, which is a shame because I feel like there are some vocal lines in here, they're very memorable, it has a little bit of clarity in these verses and bridges, and there's something within the song that I would really just enjoy listening to, but the way that it's been executed is what really holds back my personal enjoyment out of it. I'm placing this one in the D tier because there are things that I like about it, but there are also other things that I'm not enjoying as much. So I'm on the fence about this one. Still, the D tier I think is kind of where it fits based on what I think anyway. As I move on to song number 2, which oh boy, it's called Hitaammin hautaan. Yes, exactly, by Nelli Matula. And this one, I mean, I find this arrangement to be really, really charming. It definitely has its own identity within the selection. You can just see like the whole visual aspect of it as well. It's very, very pink and bubbly and fluffy and everything like that. And that, of course, makes it stand out. But as a song as well, I find it to have its own kind of identity regarding that as well. It's the arrangement definitely stands out. It's an energetic tune altogether, absolutely. There's some neat melodic writing in here. I feel like the song feels very cohesive, very purposeful, and it's an enjoyable listen. However, like, aren't like those kind of synth leads throughout the song, aren't they like hilariously similar to Careless Whisper by George Michael? I mean, I can't look past that, unfortunately, personally. It feels like they really just wanted to kind of create that reference and flirt with that. And it kind of cracks me up when I listen to it because I can't ignore it. I can't look past it. Maybe it's intentional, but it just kind of adds a very quirky flavor to this song, and I'm not sure really what to think about it. It fits the song nicely, and like it goes into the whole setting of it all quite well due to the instrumentation used here. So I am charmed by it, but it's a little bit of a strange one, I gotta say. Still, overall, I think this one is really fun to listen to. It's perhaps not the most memorable melodically, I'd say, but there are still nice lines in here. I think it's a rewarding listen. I'm placing this one in the B tier. It's a great entry, I'd say, and I'm curious to see what they're going to make of it with the live performance. As I move on to the third song, it's also a song in Finnish. There's a lot of songs in Finnish this year, which is really cool to see. I'm very fond of that fact. This one is called Sekaisin by Costee, and this one I gotta say this is an enjoyable one for me for sure. I've been repeating this one quite a lot. I think this is a very replay friendly song. It doesn't leave much of like a wow factor about it. There's nothing, you know, grand in its development or just noteworthy or attention grabbing in terms of its execution. It's just there to kind of be a very accessible and effectively written pop tune, which I think it nails. Like this composition in this track, it's very sweet. I'm very fond of the chorus melody of this track, and there are some really lovely, like, colorful chords in support of this melody that transitions this melody very well during those choruses. I'm very impressed by that, actually. This chord progression that they're using is quite unique and gives it a standout quality in that regard. As I said, perhaps the song isn't particularly intriguing in terms of its development. It's perhaps not the most memorable either, I'd say, but absolutely an enjoyable listen, at least for me. I think the execution is very effective. It has a strong production for sure. A lot of these songs are quite convincing in terms of the production, I'd say. The energetic percussion of this track, it's absolutely engaging. I feel like that really creates the energy and the pulse of the track in a convincing manner. There are a lot of upbeat qualities of this instrumental that just work for me, and it absolutely has me hooked during its entire runtime for sure. I wouldn't be able to hum the melody to you now because I don't think it's that kind of song, but it's a very rewarding listen, just like with the one I previously talked about ahead of this one, the other song with the Finnish title that I'm not repeating. I really enjoyed this song so much that I'm actually placing it in the A tier. I think it's a wonderful addition. I'm not sure if it's particularly like a competitive song or if it's something that would really leave a big mark in a competition like Eurovision, but for sure it's going on my playlist, and I think it's a really nice one to just listen to at any time. Very accessible, very sweet, straight to the point, and enjoyable for me, and really upbeat, so I like that. Something that is less upbeat for sure is called Aina by VIIVI. This is like I guess you'd call it like, this is the ballad of the selection basically, and what a ballad it is. Like this is an effective one. I have a few qualms with it, mainly one, and it's the fact that her voice is so heavily processed, and I don't get why that is the case. Like the fact is, like, when you listen to this track, or when I listen to it at least, I find her tone to be stunning. So why aren't we like allowing her dynamics to actually show within the recording here? Because I feel like she's really being taken, like held back by the fact that the fact that they've compressed her voice so much to not really let the character of of her vocals really come through in this track, which I think is a massive shame because I find this to be beautifully written, truly. I'm looking forward to just potentially getting entirely overwhelmed with this live performance because I find it to be emotionally so hard-hitting. This final chorus that the song has, it kind of has this instrumental continuation of synths that feels so rewarding, and then vocals combining on top of that just elevate this continuation further. It's such a rewarding listen. It builds gradually, it feels very satisfactory, it has a purpose throughout the whole thing, and the instrumentation kind of builds around that and creates such a rewarding finale. I think this one just hits me incredibly hard. I've been listening to it several times and I'm always left with the impression of being touched by it, for sure. This is an S-tier song for me. I would be stoked if Finland actually goes for this because I think it's a brilliantly written power ballad. Even though I have my qualm with the production there, I'm just hoping that the live performance will be as stunning and as emotionally hard-hitting as kind of I have it in my head right now, and I'm looking forward to seeing that. I guess I'm also looking forward to seeing what they're gonna do with Puppy by One Morning Left for the live performance. Because, you know, it's intriguing in that aspect. However, can I say that I enjoy listening to this song? No, not even in the slightest. It's the typical kind of concept of look at us, how quirky and random we are. And the song is, I mean, I'm sure the guys behind it would agree. It's utter nonsense. It doesn't have a point. It's there to be crazy and funny and haha for the people who like it. I mean, all the more power to them. Bitter me doesn't get this humor and I don't find it funny, and I'll sit in the corner and just not be a part of the party. Sucks to be me, maybe. But that's really all I have to think about it, because I mean, the thing is that absolutely I can see some redeeming qualities in this. I think there are some creative detailing instrumentally here, for sure. They're playing around with dynamics quite a lot, which is a nice touch, absolutely. There are intriguing aspects of the instrumentation, how they kind of, I mean, it is a random, like it feels like a randomized kind of palette of instruments being used, but in a purposeful way. So I get that, because the song is supposed to be crazy, it's supposed to be chaotic, and they're embracing that by taking unexpected instrumental inputs and just using those. So I can appreciate that for sure. There's lots of ambition within it for something, like there's lots of ambition to create something that ultimately I would always end up probably disliking. Sorry guys about that, but that's just the way it is. It's a cacophony for me to listen to. For someone else, it's hilarious and all the more power to them. But for me, it's a very, very clear F, because I will never return to this. I'm not enjoying listening to it. Maybe they will win me over with the live performance. Could be, but I'm very, very skeptical. I find this to not have many musically redeeming qualities, unfortunately. Kudos for the effort though, absolutely. Some people will love it, I'm sure. Next up is Made Of by Goldielocks, and this one, there's like one thing about this that I'm just not understanding, which is a really big shame, and it's mainly, why is her voice processed like that, especially during the verses here? It's incredibly distractingly obnoxious to me. They're so heavily compressed that I just can't wrap my head around it. Why would you want to do that to the vocals? As I said before, vocalists, they provide character to your track. Let's not remove that entirely. I hope that we can stay away from doing that. The production style of this studio cut just isn't enjoyable for me, and that's a really big shame. Luckily, it will have a live performance, and this could probably be a great package on stage, and I'm hoping it will be, because this is an upbeat, catchy tune. Certainly gets me in a very dancey mood, I gotta say. The backing track is really funky, there are distinct bass walks, there's consistent percussion within the song that provides a lot of energy to it, and it's very uplifting because of that. The characteristic guitar work is absolutely there as well to kind of create this entire collective instrumentation that I'm very, very fond of. I love just the clarity of this instrumental as well. It's super well mixed, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing how they can actually present this on stage, because it's a really fun tune to listen to. I disapprove of certain choices they've made in terms of the production on the vocals, but conceptually I hear everything that I want to hear and want to enjoy, and I'm really hoping that I would just love what I'm seeing on stage. I'm placing this one in the A tier, even though I have my complaints about the execution of it, because I just like the arrangement of the track so much, and the composition of it. It's very effective, and it's very, very appealing to me, even though I have my qualms with it for sure. And I move on to the final song of the selection. It's called KOMME by Erika Vikman. And sure, this song is probably tons of fun for some people. I'm not sure if I'm really a part of that group of people who this one really is appealing to. I've been trying to really get into this song, and at times I think this song, sure, it has its moments for sure. At times throughout the listen, I'm enjoying myself, and at times I'm kind of zoning out a little bit of it, and I don't find it particularly engaging for me. I'm not a very big fan of these kind of chanting parts of the choruses. I find them to kind of make the song feel a little less clear in its direction and its approach, I suppose. This kind of clash of ambitions in the song's composition mainly makes me enjoy it less, I suppose. Especially, like, this is regarding the chorus mainly, I'd say. I mean, it could be seen as solely like being a very creative aspect for a lot of people, but I'm just not feeling it, unfortunately. However, something that I think they absolutely speaks for this song is that I feel like they have a very ambitious package ready for the stage. You could kind of just get that vibe watching the music video. You feel like, okay, there's some kind of point to this. The song is also arranged in terms of a way that I feel like there's a point to a performance with this. It feels kind of artistic in that regard. I think that the tempo increase towards the end is kind of a cool feature. I'm personally not a fan of this instant ending that the song is doing, but that's another of these aspects that you feel like, okay, they're gonna do something with the performance to really just build up towards that and create like a final pose that's supposed to be kind of iconic or eye-catching in that sense. As a studio cut, I'm not enjoying this, I have to be honest. There are creative ideas in here, there's a lot of ambition that I can approve of, but I personally don't really enjoy listening to it that much. I'm placing this one in the D tier as well, and maybe I'm alone in that, maybe I'm not, but whatever the case, I will be honest with myself and say that I'm not particularly enjoying it, at least at the moment. However, maybe I will be won over by whatever they do on stage about this one as well. And that's the end. Quite a quick little tier list today, I say after I've been speaking for over 15 minutes. But for my standards, this is very, very quick. Only 7 songs, but 7 very eye-catching songs, I'd say. Or ear-catching, maybe I should say. That's more fitting. And a really fun selection to sit through and delve into the songs here. I'm very much looking forward to watching the show as well. I'm not sure if it's clashing with another national final, but this one would probably be pretty high up on my priority list of national finals that I want to watch this year. So we'll see how that pans out later on. But please also let me know which song is your favorite from UMK this year. Maybe you agree with my pick, which is Aina. I think that one is, I mean, it doesn't look like it on the tiers here, but I find it to be kind of head and shoulders above the competition, if I'm completely honest. I'm rooting for it so hard. Or maybe you're rooting for something else. Let me know. And as always, I hope that you take care of yourselves until I see you, hopefully very, very soon again. Yeah, that's all for now. Bye-bye.